Ramkrishna Hari to all students. Today in this video we are going to see topic number 3, measurements from subject mathematics and grade 1. Then what is mean by measurement? Suppose when you go to hospital, there you have to measure your weight, height sometimes, okay. Then this weight, height we measure, that is nothing but the measurements. Or in our house we take milk, it may be half liter, 1 liter, that is nothing but half, 1 is nothing but measurement. टाइम इतना हुआ है, इतना, इसके बाद 1 घंटा होगा, that is nothing but also measurement होती है. सपोज आपकी हाइट, आपकी बैक की लेंथ, बोर्ड की लेंथ, distance between two walls in the room, that is nothing but also measurement होता है. Now we will see some basic concepts. For example, length. Now see length. How to measure length? Using body parts to measure lengths. That means we can measure lengths by using our body parts. Now in this handspan, we will directly see handspan. What is mean by handspan? Stretch our palm the distance from the tip of your little finger. Okay, now see here, distance between tip of your little finger to the tip of your thumb. यहाँ पे, that makes a handspan. That is nothing but the handspan. That means if you have to measure your mathematics textbook, you can measure that by your handspan. In next step we use scales or other measuring instruments, but basically we have to learn as you are in the first standard by using our body parts. What is mean by measurements? Length measurement. Okay, length is nothing but the distance between some points or objects. You have to count it. Now how you can measure? By using your handspan. That means by stretch your hand and the distance between your tip of little finger to tip of thumb. Okay, now that's my as like this you can measure. That means textbook की length क्या है? 1 handspan of mine. Okay, now as your hands will be smaller, the length may vary as per your handspan. Okay, now this activity you have to do my mathematics textbook. Your textbook you have to measure by using handspan. How to measure it? Stretch your palm and then take a distance from your tip of little finger and the thumb. Okay, now next cubit is there. After this I will show you how to measure this cubit. Place your hand on the table. टेबल पे आपका हाथ रखो. Then the distance from your elbow to the tip of your middle finger makes a cubit. Actually में cubit क्या होता है? यहाँ पे elbow से tip of middle finger, that means यहाँ पे है. Now see here, elbow to tip of middle finger is nothing but the cubit. ये क्या होता है? Distance cubit होता है. Okay. Suppose you in the school you use desk, or at your home you use study table. You can measure that by using your cubit. What is mean by cubit? The distance from elbow to tip of middle finger. And what is mean by handspan? The distance between the tip of little finger and tip of thumb. Okay, that means your hands you can use to measure the lengths. Okay, now you will find one extra observation क्या होगा? देखो, you will find that your measurement and your friend's measurement are not the same. Can you say why? Because your length, height or your size of your hands are different. That's why your both your friends and your measurements will not be same. Okay, now you will find that different people get different measurements. As my hands are longer, that's why my length will be when I measure the textbook's length, only 1 handspan of mine will be there. But when you will measure, that may be 1 handspan and half handspan, 1 and 5, that means 1.5 होगा. Okay, now see next measuring part of our body we can use to measure the length. That one is foot span. Okay. But then what is mean by foot span? As hand span were there, then foot span. That means look at one part of your feet. Suppose यहाँ पे picture दिखा दिया है. That is the distance from the end of your heel. That means यहाँ पे जो end है heels का to the tip of your big toe. यहाँ पे ये जो distance है we call that as a foot span. What we call that? Foot span. Okay. Next, measure the distance of your desk and the front wall of the class using your foot. That means from your desk to front wall of the class you can measure, or also in your home you can measure this. As suppose you have to measure the distance between two walls of your room, okay, or distance from one wall to TV distance. By using your foot span you can measure that, okay, or from hall to your reading room or study room you can measure your foot span length by using foot span. Okay, the distance between my desk and the front wall of the classroom you have to observe that, and that one will be the foot span. Okay, now next concept we will see pace. What is mean by pace? Walk a few steps. That means you have to walk normally. How you can walk? That is nothing but walk a few steps. The distance between your front foot. Suppose यहाँ पे front foot है, यहाँ पे, and the back foot makes a pace. इस यहाँ से यहाँ तक. इसके first पे leg का back side and the यहाँ पे back foot का भी ये पार्ट, यहाँ पे ये जो डिस्टेंस है that means nothing but the pace. What we say? One pace. That means एक पाऊल आपण टाकलं तर एक पेस होते. ओके. मेजर द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन योर डेस्क एंड द क्लासरूम बोर्ड इन पेसेस एंड फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स. यहाँ पे आप एक्टिविटी डन कर सकते हैं. कैसे? डेस्क एंड क्लासरूम बोर्ड की यहाँ पे you can use your legs in the form of paces, and you can measure the distance from your desk to the classroom board. Okay, that's why the hand span, cubit, foot span and pace are not standard units of measurement. These units are not standard because the measurement differs from person to another person, as their length is different, therefore measurements will be the different. This is not the standard measurement. Okay, that is the variable measurement.